everyone, welcome to Beauty First in 10. If you're new here, hi, my name is Debbie and I'm excited to have you on my channel. I love all things makeup, fashion, beauty, decor, you name it, but today we're going to do my first ever DIY. I love Halloween and I thought it would be fun to share some easy, simple, promise, Halloween crafts that we can kind of do together. So the first one we're going to do is a book ghost. So this is one I saw, I think, in a magazine years and years ago, and it basically had these two ghosts, and you can see here they stand up when I have a tea light behind them, but I did this a long time ago. And I just basically cut out these Halloween shapes. On this one, I took some permanent marker and made some eyes. This one is a little bit more of a simpler ghost, a little bit easier to cut out. And this one, I tried hole punching the eyes. I think the eyes with the permanent marker look a little bit better, but I think either way is fine. And so this is really easy. If you have a book and you have some scissors, we're going to jump into this together, so stick with me. So we'll start out with our first one, and I'll put a picture up here of what we're kind of looking for. So, just find any book in your house, a smooth book, so something like this where there's no jacket on top of this. Find a book like that you're done reading or you don't mind missing the words on a page, and then we're going to use that. So the first thing you need to do, and I've got a second one here, you're just going to have to kind of break this spine a little bit because we want it to lay flat. And so if you have a book and it's kind of bouncing around and stuff, just make sure you kind of break that binding just a little bit so that you can kind of get started. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to trace out some ghosts. So you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've just taken my pencil here and I've just kind of done the outline of a couple ghosts. So kind of like right here and then right here. I'm going to change my angle a little bit so you can see a little bit better. These are the shapes of the ghosts that we have. This one is a little bit more elaborate. It does have some grooves to it. And this one is a little bit more on the simple side. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut that out. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut to kind of the lowest point. So we're cutting across here because this is the start of my line right here. And I'll kind of emphasize that a little bit more so you can kind of see it there. So this is kind of where I'm cutting to. That's going to be the tail on that one. So all I'm going to do is just cut to that point there and then start cutting from there. So you just want to leave this base intact. So you're going to start from here and kind of work your way around. So you can see there that I've cut him out, and then you're just going to go to kind of this lowest point here and bend him forward so that he'll stand up on his own. And then we're going to do the same thing on this other side. So you can see that second one was a little bit trickier to do just because I put some additional cuts in there, but we're going to do the same thing and we're going to fold this forward. And again, we've got the cut line on both sides there. And this way he'll stand up. And then we've got two ghosts. Again, the page, you don't want to ever cut all the way out so that the page is no longer there that holds them up. You could if you wanted to, but I think it looks better if the page is still behind them and it looks like they kind of came up and out. And then we're just going to add two dots to these eyes and then we'll see how they do. Okay, so we're just going to put two dots kind of at the top here. Make them happy ghosts. I'm going to flip it around so I kind of see this a little bit better. And then also too, if you still have your pencil marks where you traced, you can go ahead and just erase those off so it doesn't show your guide that you had. And there we go. We have two ghosts. So they stand up nicely on their own. And then what I usually do is I get some of those tea lights. And we're just going to stick this directly behind them. Certainly it's a little bit more obvious when the lights are off. But again, if you have a book and you have scissors, you can do this. Again, we kind of have a little bit of a simplified ghost, one with a little bit more of a drapings. Do whichever chooses. I think they both look great. And this is something simple and easy that you can just do today. Okay, for our next craft, this one is so easy yet again, and it looks really cool. We're gonna take a standard Ouija board that you can get in, Walmart, Target, wherever your shopping preference takes you, and then we're gonna make this into a serving tray. So to prep this, I just put a coat of Mod Podge, which is kind of like a sealant over top of it, and then when I use this as a serving tray, I try to use things that aren't gonna be greasy, so, packaged candies or maybe some cookies, things that aren't going to leave a residue behind. I wouldn't put cheese or salami or anything that's going to be really sloppy because it will seep through that grease, but it's just got a basic sealant on it. And then to make it a serving tray, I just added handles to it and I just glued these in place with a glue gun. So I did go to Lowe's and I tried to find some handles that I thought were relatively aged and, kind of fit with the board there. So you can kind of see there, they've got a little bit of patina on them. And then this one is same on this side. And then here you go. That's a good view of basically how far up they are on the serving platter. But yeah, I basically just made sure I line these up. And so you can look here and so you've got your sun and your moon. So just go down a little bit from that and then glue them in place. Just really kind of put a lot of pressure on them. And you have a very cute Ouija board serving tray. And then I always leave this on the side too, just so it's part of it as well. And I've had this for years and I always get comments on it. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is really easy too, and it's kind of like a tray platter as well. And that's gonna be this one here. Put some pictures up there and then I'll kind of show you how we did this. So this little platter here that I got this at Dollar Tree and it was really just kind of fit the motif, but that's not actually what I went in there to get. I was looking for more of a round plate that maybe had a Halloween saying or something on it. So check out Dollar Tree, it's $1.25. It's not a plate that's gonna probably last very long, but I really liked this one because it went with the skulls. So for these skulls, what I actually did, and I'll show you here, is they had at Dollar Tree these drinkers. So it had this skull and then it had a little cap on it. It had a straw that came out and I just took the straw and took that out. And then I'll show you this side too. And then what I did was I just glued the caps themselves into place. This way I didn't have to try to balance the skulls because I'm just screwing the cap on this drinker. And then you're just basically screwing these back into place and making sure they're in the direction that you want them to be in. But you could also do this with another skull. So if you go to your local Dollar Tree and they don't have these drinks or drinkers, I also did see them at Walmart, just FYI, but you could also just take a flat skull and then just glue the skull itself directly to the plate. You may just need to hold that one for a little bit longer, and I would definitely use your glue gun for this. And that will just kind of help seal that in place. But this is really easy and it looks really cool to have your plate held up by two little skeletons. Easy, you can do this in an afternoon, not even. The hardest part actually was making sure that I line these up and that they were even from each other. So you can see on this plate here, it's got a seam and I just did both caps just inside of the seam. And that way I knew that they were gonna be even when they came in. And then a little bit of practice, just making sure that when I screw them in, I screw them in the right way. And I've got them flat and even and they twist nicely on. So we'll get that one. And then his friend. So I think this is so fun. And there we go. We've got our skeleton plate. So definitely try this one out as well. Okay, for our next craft, we're gonna make this fun skeleton. So he looks like he is basically floating in this box. Disregard all of these magnets down here. I was using this originally as a spice rack and I was basically gluing magnets onto all my spices. So I just repurposed this, but you can get a box like this at any of the Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's Fabrics. They also sell them at Walmart in kind of like the home decor section. And they have these little boxes. And then this skeleton basically pops out. So this skeleton I just got at Dollar Tree and it's just kind of a simple normal skeleton. And then what I did was right at the top crest of his head, I put a magnet. And then I put the corresponding magnet on the inside here. So, and I just glued this on. On this one, there's actually a couple that I put on here just to make sure that I had a good enough space. And then I just glued this directly into place with a glue gun. And then I just basically stick him in here with the two magnets. and he is all ready to go, and it looks like he's floating. I do put this one up a little bit higher because when he's higher, then you can't see all the magnets from my repurposing, but you won't have that issue. But this is really cool, and I do get a lot of comments on the floating skeleton. It's just really cool, so definitely check this one out. Okay, so for this next craft, we're gonna get some canvases at your local store, and we are going to make some easy painting. Anyone could do this. So all I did was go to my local craft store, and they have these little 8x11 canvases. For this one, I didn't do anything. I didn't paint the background white. It comes that way, so take this for your help. And then I just got a couple colors of regular paint, just acrylic paints. And I basically just made 2 eyes, just like you're on a thing. I made a little smile there so you can see that. It's not perfect, but it's really cute, and you get ghost out of this. The next one I did was the cat one. And, you know, again, so I painted this all black, including the edges. You just want to make sure that when you're seeing it from the side that you see the black. So this was just a coat of paint, waited for that to dry, and then I just, very simple. So I just put some eyes and then the whiskers on. I didn't bother with the mouth or a nose or anything, but you do get cats out of this, and that is the goal. So that's the cat one. And then for the jack-o'-lantern, that's this one here. So again, I painted this orange. I did it on the seam as well. And then this is way easier than cutting a pumpkin for sure. So I used that same black paint that I used on the background for the cat, and I just made 2 triangles, a triangle nose, and then I kind of punched out a little bit of mouth here. I will say for this one, I did go ahead and just pencil these in, so I had a guide, especially when I got to the mouth here. But you would also be fine if you did want to do these cutouts, because those looked a little bit difficult. You could just make this all one big smile, and if I cover this and this, you'll see that still looks fine if it was not covered. So just kind of keep that in mind, but you know, kind of cute with the little teeth out. And then probably the most advanced one, not at all, is the Frankenstein. And so same thing. I did go ahead and paint this all green, so that's up here. And then for the hair, I did draw this out with a little bit of a pencil, so I had a little bit of a guide. But again, you can see it's not perfect. They're not perfect peaks. And then I did go around the side with the black after I was done with the hair, just so that was there. And then it's basically just making 2 eyes, adding the irises, the eyes, you know, just kind of a frowny smile. And then of course the scar, because, you know, Frankenstein should always have a scar. And I put one down here. And if you wanted to on this one, to get a little bit finer detail on these, you could actually just use permanent marker for the scars. That's what I did on this one, just to make it a little bit thinner line. So just take your regular permanent marker and you can kind of match these out. Everything else though that you see was in paint, and I did the line also with my permanent marker just to make it a little bit easier. But these are cute. I'll put the picture up there again so you can kind of see each of them. But this is, again, a nice afternoon project that you can do today. So those are 5 simple crafts that you can do this afternoon. You can just run out to Dollar Tree, get your items, go to Target, Lowe's, Walmart, Michael's, whatever your choice store is, and you can knock one of these out. They are really easy things that do kind of have a nice wow factor. So we had a bunch of friends over for a party and they were commenting on all the crafts and, you know, how neat they were. And they really look like you took a lot more time than you did to create them. So definitely encourage you to check those out. And this is my very first DIY experience on my YouTube channel. So if you like this, please hit the like button. And if you would like to see more, I usually do mostly beauty, fashion, and makeup. But please hit subscribe. I would love to have you here on my channel. I hope everyone has a great day and a happy Halloween.